teachers, learners, and parents. Sir Jeff po, at your service. Alam nyo ba na meron tayong website na tinatawag na DepEd Commons? Ang DepEd Commons ay binuo upang gawing accessible ang pagtuturo at pag-aaral dito sa ating bansa gamit lamang ang inyong mga smart devices gaya ng cellphones, tablets, at computers. Dito ay maaari nating ma-access ang iba't ibang learning materials mula sa Department of Education. Meron itong mga interactive materials, electronic self-learning modules, at instructional video lessons mula sa DepEd TV na tiyak na makatutulong sa pag-aaral ng mga mag-aaral galing ka man sa public o private school. Walang problema dahil welcome ang lahat dito. Para ito sa mga guro, magulang at mga mag-aaral mula sa kinder hanggang grade 12, alternative learning system o ALS, at pati na rin ang special education. At huwag kang mag-alala dahil kahit walang load ay maaari mong ma-access ang mga learning materials. Tama! Libre ito. Ang kailangan mo lamang gawin ay i-on ang iyong data at buksan lamang ang iyong browser at i-type ang commons.deped.gov.ph. Alam na ba ng iyong mga kasamahang guro o mag-aral ang tungkol sa DepEd Commons? I-share mo na ang video na ito upang matuto rin sila kung paano gagamitin ang DepEd Commons sa mabilis at napakadaling paraan. Muli, ito po si Sir Jeff at kita-kits po tayo sa DepEd Commons. Paalam!
Right. Good afternoon po sa lahat ng mga nakatutok ngayon sa live streaming po ng ating unang session po for the Week 1 of Quarter 3 for Mathematics 6. Ako po si Tutor Prince, ang inyo pong magiging guide para po sa lesson natin for today. Ayan. So, without further ado po, let me share my screen. But before that, I'd like to greet po, special shout out po kina Ma'am Santina Villa and Mary Jane Lumba, both from Nueva Ecija. Ayan. So let me go ahead and share my screen. So ang lesson natin ay ang unang, of course, yung Week 1 lesson for Mathematics 6. Yan. Okay, so i-full screen po natin ito. Wait lang po. Yan. Alright. Still loading. So, buwan naman na po tayo for today, for Math 6. So, ito po yung Week 1 of 8 na lesson for Mathematics 6. Alright, so, welcome to our online tutorial. Isa sa mga project po ng DepEd under the leadership of Sir Mark C. of Edtech Unit. Yan. So, for today, ang ating pong material, by the way, ay galing po sa division ng Negros Oriental. Mula pa yan sa Region 7. At ito po ang kanilang development team. So we'd like to recognize po ang bumuo po ng module for this session po. Yan. So salamat po sa pagpapagamit po ninyo ng inyong module. And this is of course accessible po sa DepEd Commons. Yan. So at the end of this lesson, of this 40-minute session, you will be able to differentiate, that should be without S, differentiate solid figures from plane figures. So ano nga ba yung kaibahan ng solid figures at ng plane figures? And ano yung kaibahan? And we'll also visualize and describe the different solid figures like cube, prism, pyramid, cylinder, cone, and sphere using various concrete and pictorial models. Yan. Ayan. So, I have here some examples. So, ano ba yung mga tawag, ano ba yung mga yan? So, we have the first object in this slide, which looks like a star. and then an egg-shaped one, and then yung parang, ano ba to? It has 5 sides. And this one here parang, ano ba siya? Hindi siya connected, hindi lahat ng sides connected, no? Or hindi lahat pala ng vertices ay connected. So these are examples of plane figure. So what is a plane figure? So it is a geometric figure that has no thickness. So ibig sabihin, wala siyang, sa Tagalog, wala siyang kapal, no? Or wala siyang height. Okay? Yung height as in yung distance from the bottom to the top surface. And it lies entirely in one plane. And it can be composed of line segments, curves, or a combination of the two, line segments and curves. And it is often categorized as open or closed. Wait lang. Let me modify lang my screen. Yeah. So a plane figure is often categorized as open or closed. So it means a plane figure is two-dimensional, or plane figures are 2D shapes that do not have any thickness, meaning it is a flat surface. So again, itong mga to ay plane figures. But which of these are closed? Siyempre, yung unang tatlo. Dahil lahat ng vertices or corners ay connected. While yung last, okay, is considered to be, or an example of an open plane figure. Yan. Alright, so, details about those plane figure, it has, of course, area and perimeter. So we can compute for the number of square units it contains and the distance around it. And it can be further categorized into polygonal plane figures and non-polygonal plane figures. So, ibig sabihin, ang closed plane figure pwede siyang polygon, pwedeng non-polygon. By the way, what is a polygon? Yan. So again, these are examples of closed plane figures. So lahat ng vertices sa bawat shape na nakikita ninyo ay connected. Meaning, walang break, continuous yung mga segments or lines. So a polygon is of course a closed plane figure formed only using line segments. And the line segments are called sides, meaning straight dapat yung mga edges niya. And it has to have at least 3 sides. And as such, they're often classified based on the number of their sides. So ang triangle, yan ang tawag natin sa polygon na mayroong 3 sides. While naman yung polygon na may 4 sides ay tinatawag natin quadrilateral. Nung mga bata-bata pa tayo, alam lang natin pag 4 sides, it's either square or rectangle, tama? Pero nung nakarating na tayo siguro ng grade 4 or grade 5, we learned that a 4-sided polygon is called a quadrilateral. And the next one is a polygon with 5 sides, which is called pentagon. Tama? Wait lang, let me ask muna our viewers. Okay. Viewers, ano ang tawag sa polygon na merong 7 sides? Anyone? What do you call a polygon? Or what do we call a polygon with 7 sides? And good afternoon sa mga patuloy na nagko-comment sa ating live streaming today. You are tuning in po sa session 1 of 8 for Mathematics 6. So today is a Matalino day. Ayan, tama si Shera Jane Maningas. It's called a heptagon. So that is what we call a 7-sided polygon. Very good. So, ayan, marami pong nakasagot na heptagon. Very good. Yan, good afternoon po sa lahat ng mga bumabati sa ating comment section. Alright, so let's continue. Our next one is, okay. Ulit tayo dito. Sorry. Yan. So, kung merong polygon, syempre may examples ng non-polygons. At kasama dyan ang circle. So, pag sinabing circle, there is a center at dyan, okay, equidistant ang mga points, okay, on the circle. So, kahit saan man yung point sa circle, ang distance ng mga yon or ang haba ng mga yon ay pare-parehas lang. And what we call that segment as the radius of the circle. And of course, we know na yung line segment, okay, passing through the center, okay, of the circle and whose endpoints are on the circle also is called the diameter. And these next three figures here are also examples of non-polygonal plane figures because may mga tawag dito, sides sila or parts na hindi straight or they are curved rather. Yan. Next, let's have the first test for today. Wait lang. Kailangan ko yatang bumalik ulit dun sa isang view natin. Yan. Alright. So this is lifted from the module, yung gawa ng Negros Division from Region 7. Ito yung sa what's in part. So let's name the following plane figures. Okay? So some of these are polygons, some are not polygons. So ano yung number 1? Very basic. Ang number 1, syempre ay, ano yung number 1? Anyone? Ano ang pangalan ng plane figure sa item number 1? Anyone? So it has 3 sides. Of course, it's triangle. Very good. At yung pangalawa, yan. So yung kaninang example natin yan, it's circle. Itong pangatlo, are you familiar with this third polygon? So ito say polygon kasi straight ang mga edges niya. Tama? Anyone? So tama yung mga sumagot ng circle for number 2. Yes, that's correct. Charles? I'm sorry, it's not a rhombus because we can see na the polygon has only a pair of parallel sides. Yung dalawa dito, yung makaganon, those are called the legs. They are the non-parallel sides. Ayan, very good. See, Johnny Abueg. It's a trapezoid. Yan. Kapag biniltad mo yan, di ba? Yun yung parang hugis, bubong. Trapezoid ang tawag dyan. Okay. Next. Next one. So, obviously, ang next one ay ano? Sa Tagalog, parihaba. Sa English, ano ang English ng parihaba? Ayan, very good yung mga sagot ng trapezoid. Yung mga humabol sa sagot. Ayan, very good si Ellie Haylar. It's a rectangle. So, it's a rectangle. Number 4 is a rectangle. Very good. Yung number 5, of course, ano yan? Sa Tagalog, parisukat. Pare-parehas ang sukat ng mga side at lahat ng angles niya ay right angle. So, sa mga sumagot ng square, you are correct. Yan. Number 6 naman. Ano ang number 6? Hugis itlog. It's an elongated circle. Yan. Ano yung number 6 natin? So, very good yung mga sumagot ng square. Yan. May sugot na from Jill. It's oblong. Very good. Or sa iba, it could be accepted as oval-shaped or oval. Or pwede ring ellipse. Or in general, oblong ang tawag dyan. It's an elongated circle. Yan. Ano yung ating next? Ayan. Yung ating next has 5 sides. Yan. Ano ang sagot kapag, ano ang pangalan ng polygon kapag meron siyang 5 sides? Yan. Very good yung mga sumagot ng pentagon. Yan. Ang unang nakita kong sagot ng pentagon ay from Dustin Nicholson, followed by Pauline Miranda, Casey Talambayan. Very good. Pentagon. And si Shandan Lynn Campuspos. Very good. That's a pentagon. And the last one, Yan. So ang last one, para mas maging malinaw, it is a quadrilateral. It only has two pairs of equal sides. So hindi yan rhombus, definitely. So kung hindi siya rhombus, ano siya? Hindi siya rhombus, ha? Ayan, hindi ko na, ayan, very good yung mga sumagot ng, kasi nga, hindi lahat ng sides sa number 8 ay equal. So hindi siya rhombus. Only the opposite sides are equal in length. So, ang sagot ay parallelogram. So, ang nakita kong sumagot ng parallelogram una ay si Marvin Billones or Billones. May estudyante kami sa Duquette High School na Billones ang apelido. Yan. Very good. Next one. So, remember kapag plane figure, flat surface, it could either be a polygon or a non-polygon. So, it means it could either have all its sides straight or some of its sides, if not all, okay, are curved or non-straight segments. Yan. So we now go to solid figures. So pag sinabing solid figures, I remember nung nasa elementary ako, ang tawag pa dyan, ewan ko ba't binago na lang, or binago ba talaga, ay spatial figures or space figures. Yan. So ang tawag sa kanila ngayon ay solid figures. So ang solid figures, and we have two bullets for its definition. It is, or they are three-dimensional figures and they have length, width, and height. So may haba, may lawak, at may taas. So ano-ano yung mga examples ng solid figures na meron tayo sa bahay? Anyone? Siyempre kapag bumibili ka sa 3D po. Yan, yes, they are called three-dimensional shapes. Yan. Hello po, Ma'am Mel Japs, watching from RA Medal Senior Elementary School. From Division of Bacolod City. Hello po. Maayong buntag po bang tawag sa pagbati ninyo dyan? Ang grade 7 naman ay kasunod ko. So, after 1:40, you'll be seeing na po yung live streaming for grade 7 math. Ayan, box. So, ayan. So, ang box ng shoes, yan ay isang example ng solid figure. Ano pa? Kapag tamad kayong magluto ng ulam, meron naman kayong available na stock, magbubukas ka ng delata. So, yung delata na yan, ay, yung container ay isang example ng solid figure, which is a cylinder. Yan. Ano pa? Yung lalagyanan ng favorite nating chocolate. Yung nag-start sa letter T ang pangalan. So, pahaba yun, di ba? Tapos merong triangle din sa dulo. So, yun ay isang example din ng, ayun, very good si Gersha. Triangular prism naman ang lalagyan nun. Ayan, so let's continue. So, these are the examples. So, the most common examples that we see sa mga modules sa mga libro. So, we have the cube, the rectangular prism, triangular prism. So, all of these are actually examples of prism. And by the way, ang square prism ay hindi siya kaparehas ng cube, ha? So, we'll learn why later. So, another example ay pyramid. We have the cone, the sphere, and the cylinder. Ayan. Magbigay nga ng example ng real-life object na hugis ay cube. Anyone? Magbigay ng isang, halimbawa ako magbigay ako, ha? Ice cube, syempre. So, ang ice cube ay isang example ng solid figure na cube. Okay, ang stone ba, irregular solid siya, no? So, depende sa hugis ng stone siguro, no? So, hindi siya pwedeng mag-fall dito. Or, depende nga. Yan, Rubik's Cube, very good. Yan. Tapos yung, sa rectangular prism naman, yung box na sinabi ni Nicholson kanina, that is an example. Tapos yung, syempre yung bola, that will be an example of a sphere. Tapos kapag di ba nung mga bata-bata pa tayo, when we go to birthday party, uso yung magsusot tayo ng party hat. That is an example of a cone. What about sa pyramid? Ano yung example ng ating pyramid? Huwag niyo kakantahin, ha? Bigyan niyo ako ng example ng pyramid. Hotdog? Ano ba yung hotdog? Hotdog. Anong shape ang hotdog? Magpo-fall ba siya sa mga solid figure dito? Yan. Ice cream cone, yes, that's an example of a cone. Oy, interesting example ni Marvin Villones. Coffin. That's a rectangular prism. Ano pa? Yun yung, okay. So, nabanggit ng brand, yung iba, yung brand ng chocolate. Yan. So, yung lalagyan ng chocolate na yun is an example of triangular prism nga. Ayun, very good si Lizarda. Tent. Yes, that could pass as an example of a pyramid. Of course, sa cylinder nga, yung mga, yung mismong container o lalagyan ng dilata. Okay? Or globe, of course. Yes, para sa sphere. Correct. Correct, Miss Gwyneth Tolentino. Let's proceed. So let's get to know each solid figure. Una muna pala, we have to be familiar with some terminologies. We have the first term, which is face or faces of a solid figure. So there's actually a debate, okay, here, kung ang face ba ay basta lang ba flat surface or it has to be a flat surface with straight edges. So for our session, or for our lesson or discussion today, we're going to use this definition of face. So it refers to a flat surface with only straight edges. So it means, ang meron lang mga face ay kagaya ng sa prism, sa pyramid. So ibig sabihin, yung curved surfaces na meron sa cylinder, sa cone, and sa sphere, at yung mga flat surfaces pero may mga curved edges or boundaries, kagaya ng sa cylinder at cone, ay hindi considered na faces. Okay? So, ibig sabihin, ang may faces lang ay yung, sa examples natin kanina, ang meron lang faces ay, balikan natin, itong cube, rectangular prism, triangular prism, tsaka pyramid. Kasi sila lang yung merong flat surfaces na may straight edges. Meaning, ang faces, we think of them as polygons. Okay? So, ibig sabihin yung circular base ng cone, yung circular bases ng cylinder are not faces, but they are called flat surfaces. And the curved surfaces na meron sa cone, ito yung dito yung curve niya, pati dito, tsaka sa cylinder, yung parang katawan niya, those are curved surfaces and they're not considered also faces, or they're not considered either as faces. But for edges naman, so if faces meet, okay, we call the intersection as the edge of the solid figure. So edge is the line segment where two faces of a solid figure meet, while the vertex is the point where two edges of a solid figure meet. So the vertex has to be what? Okay, the point of intersection of the edges of a solid figure. So itong sa cone, hindi siya pwede makonsider na vertex nung solid kasi hindi naman siya intersection ng mga edges kasi wala din edges ang cone. Kasi wala naman siyang straight line segment. So it's considered an apex. Okay? Tama ba? Apex? Yan. Okay. So let's have polyhedron. So ang polyhedron, so you have to be familiar with this. It is a three-dimensional shape whose faces are polygons. So meaning lahat. So sa iba kasi, pag sabing faces, it's considered the sides of the shape. So yung sides nung solid, kapag lahat ay polygon, ang tawag sa kanya ay polyhedron. And there are actually two special types. Dito nagfo-fall ang prism at pyramid. So again, remember that? Ang polyhedron ay may dalawang special types. Merong prism at merong pyramid. Pero may yung mga ibang examples pa ng polyhedron ay yung octahedron, etc. Okay? So let's go to prism. So ang prism, it's a polyhedron in which the top and bottom faces. So ang top at bottom faces ng prism, ang tawag doon ay bases. Okay? So ang bases ay faces din ng prism. So those faces or those bases are parallel congruent polygons. And all the other faces, which are termed lateral faces, are rectangles. So technically, sinasabi na kapag ang mga sides are rectangles, the shape is known as a right prism, kagaya na nakita niyo example dito. So, meaning, the lateral faces meet, okay, the sides, or the lateral faces meet the sides of the base at right angle. So, yung intersection ng face na to, tsaka nung base dito ay, okay, nagfo-form ng right angle. So, right prism ang tawag dyan. So, for our session today, kapag binamagin ko ang prism, we think of the right prism. Kasi nga, mayroong tayong example na non-right prism. Meaning, the faces are parallelograms, not necessarily rectangles. But for today, when we think of when we say prism, we will refer to right prism. So it has 2 rectangular bases and 4 lateral faces, which are all rectangles. Ayan. So you see na meron tayong mga symbols for right angles dito. Yeah. So under prism, or one of its definition or property, or one of its properties is that it has the same cross-section along its length. Ibig sabihin, pag hiniwa-hiwa mo ang prism, you're going to get the same shape. So kapag triangular prism ang hiniwa mo, you're going to get triangles. Pag rectangular, you're going to get rectangles. Yan. So we have prisms like triangular, square prism, which is not the same as cube, rectangular prism, pentagonal prism, and octagonal prism. So these are named after the shape of the bases. So pag triangular prism, ang base ng prism ay triangles. Pag square prism, ang base niya ay square. Pag rectangular prism, rectangles ang bases. Pag pentagonal, pentagons ang bases. Pag octagonal, octagons ang bases. So examples niyan ay itong mga to. So for rectangular prism, we have this example. Yan. So itong sa taas sa kababa, yan yung bases. So these are rectangles. Okay? So these are the ones parallel and congruent. So yung mga lateral faces, yun yung mga parang mas maliit yung area, no? Next, we have triangular prism. Yan, lalagyan ng favorite nating chocolate. So yung bases niya ay ito, yung taas sa kababa, triangles yan. Pero the lateral faces are rectangles. So ang cube, it's considered a special type of prism kasi lahat ng faces niya, the bases and the lateral faces are all squares. Okay? Square sila na pare-parehas ang side length. Ibig sabihin, when you have a cube, you have 6 congruent squares as the sides or faces. Whereas kapag square prism, ang requirement lang dyan ay ang bases lang ang square. Okay? Kaya nga square prism, meaning the lateral faces are still rectangle. So, gets niyo yun ha? Ang square prism, square ang bases pero the lateral faces are squares. Pero pag cube, lahat ng faces niya ay squares. Okay? Now, let's explore and play with Prism. So I have here a link to a website where we can see interactive part. Yan, where we can see the number of faces, number of vertices, and the number of edges. So this is an example of a triangular prism. Itong nasa gilid, nakikita ba ito pala? Wait lang. Tama ba? Are you seeing? Wait lang. Nakikita naman to, no? Or hindi? Wait lang. Nakikita ba yung screen? Nakikita ba itong link, itong mismong webpage na sinashare ko ngayon? O hindi? Parang hindi, no? Wait lang. Wait lang. So, i-share ko tong screen natin. Ulit. Okay. I'm going to share na lang my entire screen. Yan. Okay? Alright. So, we have here a website where we can see na gumagalaw yung prism. So, sa baba, okay, naka-indicate na dyan yung number of faces, meaning kung ilan yung sides niya, ilan yung polygons na bumubuo sa kanya. That means the bases plus the lateral faces. So a triangular prism has 5. So hinto natin, no. So itong mga triangles na to, isa, dalawa. Yan yung bases. But still, they are part of the faces. Tapos, the rectangles, 1, 2, 3. So lahat ay 5. Yan. So yung mga green surfaces na hinighlight dyan ay mga faces. Whereas the vertices, yan. So yung vertex. So ilan ba ang corners? So I think ang corners, para mas madaling makompute, ay bilangin mo lang, ilan ba ang corner ng bawat base ng triangular prism? 3. Dalawa yung triangles yun as bases. Ibig sabihin, 3 plus 3, 6. Ayan. So, we have 1, 2, 3. Wait lang. Ayan. 1, 2, 3. The corners of the triangular base plus another 3. That means 6 ang lahat ng vertices sa triangular prism. Ang number of edges, ayan. So, yung naka-blue. So, ilan ba ang number of edges? Bakit 9? So, yung tatlong edges nung triangle na isa plus yung tatlong edges, okay, nung isa pang triangle. So, bali, 6. O, saan galing yung tatlo pa? Yun ay galing dun sa intersection ng tatlong rectangular lateral faces. So, 1, 2, 3. Ayan. At meron tayong tinatawag na Euler's formula, E-U-L-E-R, or Euler's formula, which states that the number of faces plus the number of vertices minus the number of edges should always be equal to 2. So 5 plus 6, 11 minus 9 equals 2. At dito yung net, ibig sabihin ito yung pwedeng bumuo dun sa triangular prism. So we have 3 rectangles and 2 triangles. I-play natin to. Yan. So yun yung pwedeng guide natin para mabuo ang isang triangular prism. Let's go to octagonal naman. Yan. So ang octagonal, syempre, ang bases niya ay octagons. So it has 8 sides. Ibig sabihin, 8 plus another 8, that's already 16 edges. Tapos, intersection pa nung mga rectangular faces or lateral faces. That means, 8 yun. Kasi may 8 sides ang octagon. So, kailangan mo ng isang rectangle para mag-meet ang, or para, yung para sa isang side ng octagon. Ulit nga. So, number of faces tayo. So, isang octagon, plus isa pang octagon, and yung 8 rectangular lateral faces. Okay? Para mabuo yung mismong prism. So, bali 10. Number of vertices, again, para mas maising i-compute, i-multiply lang by 2 yung number of vertices ng ng isang base. So, an octagon has 8 vertices times 2. That means an octagonal prism has 16 vertices. Ito nga bakit 24? Kasi, so 8 yung edges ng bawat base. So, times 2 agad yun. So, 8 times 2, 16. Tapos, may 8 tayong lateral faces. That means, may intersection silang 8. So, 8 plus 16 plus 8, 24. Tapos, i-play natin itong pagbuo using the net. Yan. Okay, that's our guide how to create octagonal prism. Okay, let's go back to the PowerPoint. Yan. So, as a summary, yan. So, depending on the type of prism, iba-iba ang number of faces, ang number of vertices at number of edges. So, sa triangular prism, that means 5 kasi 2 triangles plus 3 rectangles. Kasi nga 2 yung triangular bases, 3 yung lateral faces ng rectangles, kaya 5. Number of vertices, so dahil nga 3 ang bawat side, 3 ang corners ng triangles, times 2 agad yon 6. And the number of edges, 3 sa bawat triangular bases, that means 6 agad. Tapos, yung intersection ng mga 3 lateral faces, so 9. And then, for square prism, rectangular prism, and for cube, okay, this is the set of FVE. 6 faces, 8 vertices, and 12 edges. For pentagonal, okay, pentagon ang base niyan, tama? 2 pentagons as the bases. So, ibig sabihin, 2 polygons yon plus yung, yung 5 lateral faces. Okay? Kaya 7. Tapos, number of vertices, dahil 5 nga, ang corners ng pentagon, so times 2 agad, so 10. And then, number of edges, 15. So, octagonal prism, 10 faces, 16 vertices, and 24 edges. Okay. So after prism, there's also this type of polyhedron na puro triangles ang tawag dito. Puro triangles ang lateral faces rather. Yan. So ang tawag sa kanya ay wait lang. Naglo-load pa. Oops, naglo-load lang. Pyramid. Yan. So ang pyramid ay polyhedron in which the base is a polygon and all the lateral faces are triangles. So pag we say pyramid this time, right pyramid ang ating inisip pa. Okay, so when the lateral faces are congruent triangles, the shape is known as right pyramid, indicating that the apex, ito, the vertex at which the lateral faces meet is directly above the center of the base. Yan. Because we also have a non-right pyramid, meaning hindi directly above the center of the base yung apex or vertex. Yan. So, kagaya ng sa prism, a pyramid is also named after the shape of its base. So, we can have a triangular pyramid where the base is a triangle, a square pyramid where the base is a square, a rectangular pyramid where the base is a rectangle, and pentagonal and hexagonal pyramids. So, examples ng mga yan ay ito. So, wala tayong triangular dito, no? Ay rectangular. So, square pyramid, triangular pyramid, pentagonal pyramid, and hexagonal pyramid. So, it is clear na yung mga lateral faces ay lahat triangles. Yan. So, let's explore and play with pyramids. So, let's use the website again. Yung kaninang ginamit natin. So, this time, we have triangular, rectangular, pentagonal, and hexagonal. So, tingnan muna natin paano nabubuo ang isang pyramid. So, this is what we call the net. So, let's play this. Yan. So, we have 3 triangles para mabuo apat. Sorry. So, itong parang sa gitna ng tatlo, yun pinaka-base. So, the rest are the lateral faces. So, number of faces, 4 yan kasi 3 lateral faces at isang base. Number of corners. Okay, bakit 4? Kasi yung base, may 3 corners dyan, tapos nag-meet naman yung 3 lateral faces dun sa apex, kaya 4 lang. Okay, next. Number of edges. Bakit 6? Okay, syempre yung 3 dun sa edges, sa base, tapos yung 3 edges kung saan nag-meet yung 3 lateral faces. Kapag rectangular, 5 ang faces. Okay? Kasi nga naman, 4 yung sides ng rectangle. Ibig sabihin, 4 na triangles ang dapat kalugtong nun para mabuo yung pyramid. Kagaya ng nakita natin sa net dito. Ayan. So, the rectangle plus the 4 triangles that will make up the lateral faces. So, that means 5 yung faces ng pyramid. Number of vertices, bakit 5? Okay, kasi nga, 4 yung corners ng base kasi it's a rectangle plus the apex. So, 4 plus 1, 5. A number of edges. So, 4 yung edges. Pumiyak pa ako. 4 yung edges ng rectangle as the base. Tapos, 4 din naman yung magiging intersection, okay, ng mga lateral faces. Kaya 4 plus 4, 8. O, let's jump to hexagonal pyramid. And hexagonal meaning, ito siya, no? Pag binuo mo yan, dapat you have a hexagon as the center, no? Para yun yung magiging base. Tapos, ilang triangles ang kailangan mo? Kasi may 6 na sides, ibig sabihin, 6 na triangles. So, 6 plus 1, 7 faces. That means, 6 plus 1 din ang vertices. Kasi 6 vertices sa base, tapos isa para dun sa intersection ng mga lateral faces. So, mapapansin ninyo na sa pyramid, ang number of faces at number of vertices ay equal. Ang number of edges, bakit 12? Kasi nga po, 6 ang sides ng base, tapos 6 din ang lateral faces. That means 6 na edges yun, that will be the intersection of the lateral faces. So 6 plus 6 ay 12. Ayan. That is hexagonal pyramid. Okay, let's proceed to the next one. Okay. So as a summary, tingnan natin yung summary ng number of faces, number of vertices, and number of edges. Yan. So triangular pyramid, again, kagaya na sinabi ko kanina, number of faces is equal to the number of vertices sa pyramid. So 4 and 4 parehas. Tapos sa 6, ano yung pinaka-shortcut natin dito? Sa number of edges. Anyone? So ang pinaka-shortcut natin, kumbaga, ay simply multiply the number of edges of the base. So sa triangular pyramid, 3 ang edges niya. So times 2, so that will be equal to the number of edges of the entire pyramid. Sa square or rectangular pyramid, so tig-5 ang faces at vertices. Bakit 8 ang number of edges? Shortcut, 4 yung sides ng base. So ibig sabihin, times 2 mo yon, 8 yung magiging number of edges ng pyramid. Sa pentagonal, 6 and 6 ang faces at vertices. That means, for the number of edges, since 5 ang edges ng pentagon, times 2 mo yun, you'll get 10 as a result for the number of edges. Hexagon, so 6 plus 1 yan, kaya tig 7 yan. Kasi 6 corners of the base and 1 corner, the intersection of the lateral faces or the apex of the pyramid, so 7. Tapos, number of edges. So, 6 times 2 kasi ang hexagon has 6 sides. So, times 2 mo yun, 12. Okay, next. Yan. So, we now go to the solids that have curved surfaces. The first one is cylinder. So, it is somewhat like a prism because it has parallel congruent bases, which are the flat surfaces of the cylinder. But, instead of the bases being polygons, they are circular rather. So, ang cylinder, when we think of cylinder, di ba, usually ang bases ay circles, pero pwede na namang hindi siya circular, elongated ones, yung bases. So, it also has a curved surface. So, kagaya nitong ating example dito. Next, ayan yung cone. It has one circular base, which is its flat surface, and it has one vertex that is not on the base. Okay, yung apex na kagaya sa pyramid. Pero, yung vertex dito ay hindi siya yung intersection ng mga lateral faces. Kasi nga, wala namang faces ang cone because it has curved surfaces. Or it has a curved surface. Next, ang sphere, okay, it has a curved surface and all its points are at an equal distance from the center point. Yan. Yan. Well, let's proceed to this next assessment. What I can do. Lifted, of course, from the module from Region 7, Division of Negros Oriental. Ayan. So, i-match na lang natin. So, what do we call a solid in which the base is a polygon and its lateral faces are triangles? Anyone? Ayan. Nalito na tayo. Wait lang. Share ko lang. Limit ko lang yung aking screen. Medyo magulo tayo, no? Yan. Sa PowerPoint tayo. Okay, yan. So, what do we call a solid in which the base is a polygon and its lateral faces are triangles? Yan. So, anyone? Ayan. May sumagot na. May sumagot ng E at may sumagot din ng D. Wait lang ha. Ano ang tama? So, lateral faces are triangles ha. Yun ang specified dito. But the base is any polygon yan. So, ang sagot ay pyramid. So, tama yung sumagot ng D. Next one. This solid has no definite base. And it is a curved surface, okay, in which the points are, all of these are at the same distance from the center. Yan, ano yung sagot dyan? Number 2 na tayo. So, it is a curve wherein it is a curved surface wherein the points are at the same distance from the center. Okay. Sphere. Very good. Very good. Annabel Agsam, Melo Cantina, and Rosil Tanraga. Very good. So that's a sphere. Okay, next. Number 3, the base is triangle with 3 rectangular lateral faces. Ayan. So yung base niya ay triangle. Dalawa yun, syempre. Okay? Pero yung lateral faces are rectangular. What is the answer to that? Or what solid is being described? The bases are triangles, but the lateral faces are rectangular or rectangles. Very good. Si Melo Cantina ulit at si Miss Rosel Tandraga. Triangular prism yan. Okay, good. Last one for this what I can do part. It has 2 circular bases that are congruent and parallel. So circular ang bases. So circles, hindi polygons. Ibig sabihin, we should not be thinking of a polyhedron. It's neither a prism nor a pyramid. So what is it? Cylinder. Very good ulit si Miss Rosel Tanraga. Okay? Okay, next, last one. So, in this part, true or false lang tayo. So we write true if the statement is true and false otherwise. If otherwise, false na lang. So number 1, a rectangular prism has 2 rectangular bases with 4 rectangular lateral faces. So tama ba yung pagkaka-describe sa rectangular prism? Meron daw siyang dalawang rectangular faces and 4 rectangular lateral faces. Yan, tama yung mga sumagot ng cylinder. Yan, ang bilis sumagot ni Ms. Rosel Tanraga. Very good, that's true. Okay? So, a rectangular prism, the bases are rectangles and all the other faces, the lateral faces, are also rectangles. Next, a sphere has no faces. Is this true or false? So remember, our definition of face here is that it is a flat surface which is bounded by straight edges. Tama ba? So true. Yeah. Okay, so true. Third one, a pyramid has rectangular faces. So, take note ha, plural yon, rectangular faces. Can a pyramid have rectangular faces, plural? True or false? Okay, number 3, may mga sumagot na, ayan. Okay, wait lang. Ayan, si Sofia Nish Bagasan. It's false. Yes, you are correct. False siya, bakit? Okay, a pyramid can have 1 rectangular face provided it is the base of the pyramid. And all the other faces, the lateral ones, are triangular. So, this statement is false. Last one. Pentagon is one of the solid figures. So, it means pentagon has length, has width, and has height. True or false? That's the last one. Yan. So, number 4. Yan. So, para makasure si sino itong sumagot ng false. Yan, si Melo Cantina. False. Ayan. So, sumagot ng false for number 4, you are correct. So, a pentagon is not one of the solid figures. It is one of the plane figures. Okay? Under the category of closed plane figure na polygonal because it is a polygon. It has 5 sides. So, that ends our session this afternoon for Math 6. Ay, hindi pa pala. Excited lang ako. Meron pa tayong Part B. So, 4 items to go. So, let's name the solid figure that resembles the following. Meaning, what solid figure can represent the following objects. So, sa dice, syempre, that's cube. Yung camping tent, kagaya nung nag-comment kanina, an example niya yun as pyramid. So, pyramid yan. Ice cream cone, the name itself bears the name of the solid figure it resembles, which is a cone. And globe, kagaya sa nag-comment kanina, it is an example of a sphere. Yeah. So that ends, yun nga ang ating session for this afternoon. So thank you for listening. Thank you for participating by writing your answers in the comment section. So please tune in pa rin sa next live streaming for Math 7, and I'll see you next week, next Friday, for the Week 2 session for Math 6. So thank you. Bye-bye. Keep safe.
Sigurado ako na marami ka na namang natutuhan sa ating ETUlay tutorial session ngayong araw. Tandaan, ito ay hindi lamang para sa ating mga mag-aaral, kundi pati rin sa ating mga minamahal na guro at mga magulang na kaagapay natin para maituloy ang pagkatuto sa kabila ng nararanasang pandemya. Patuloy ding sumubaybay sa DepEd TV para sa mga araling ginawang video episodes. Mapapanood ito mula Lunes hanggang Sabado, alas 7 ng umaga hanggang alas 7 ng gabi sa inyong mga telebisyon. Abangan sa Lunes mula 1:00 ng tanghali ang iba pang aralin sa ating ETUlay free online tutorial session sa Science. I-like and subscribe at manatiling nakasubaybay sa ating ETUlay tutorial session sa DepEd Edtech Unit FB page at Educational Technology Unit channel sa YouTube at sa DepEd Tayo at DepEd Philippines social media accounts. Paalam!